Brought to you by Penguin.
Wednesday, a novelisation of Season 1. Read by Inés de Castillo.
From the desk of Wednesday Addams. Ask any problem child how they feel about being dumped at their 8th school in 5 years, and you'll get about the same answer. I'm no exception, though I like to think my expulsions, as well as my taste in curses, tend to be a bit more creative than your average bullies. I can't overstate how little I wanted to be dragged to Nevermore Academy, my parents' alma mater, on the fateful fall day that our family hearse wound up the drive. In my eyes, any institution that could produce my mother's smug superiority or my parents' nauseating obsession with each other was a place to be avoided at all costs. But as any investigative genius will tell you, it's important to be able to admit when you're wrong. And I was. About Nevermore Academy. About almost everything that happened there that year. In my defense, however, who could possibly have predicted that a campus notorious for housing your garden variety outsiders and weirdos would play host to a monster mystery so deep, so twisted, that even I would be surprised by its conclusion. If I could go back in time and tell that younger, more naive version of me one thing, well, I probably wouldn't. Pure, unforeshadowed terror is one of life's few true diversions after all, and I know she'd be furious with me for ruining the surprise. Instead, let me take you back to the beginning of a story in which I, Wednesday Addams, find a purpose and a home in the very last place I ever expected to find either. Don't worry, it's not a feel-good story. If you should know one thing about me going into this, it's that I detest a story without at least 5 brutal murders. Chapter 1. Months earlier. My parents are kissing passionately in the seat across from me. It's a good thing we drive a funereal vehicle because I'm seconds from expiring. Cause of death? Pure revulsion. I'm convinced a coffin 6 feet under would be a preferable destination to the one I'm heading for. Nevermore Academy. The very campus I swore as a child I would never set foot on. Anything that makes my father misty-eyed is something I reject summarily, including my mother, who surfaces for air and turns her imperious gaze on me. "Darling, how long do you intend on giving us the cold shoulder?" she asks. I don't turn my gaze from the window. "Lurch," I say in an even tone, addressing the family's monstrous butler in the driver's seat. "Please remind my parents I'm not speaking to them." Lurch moans, as he's wont to do. Right now I prefer it to the conversation my parents have been trying to have with me since we left home this morning. I know my father understands the warning in his tone, but he ignores it. "I promise you, my little viper, you'll love Nevermore, won't she, Tish?" My father is incapable of having an opinion my mother doesn't share. It's unnatural, and it only increases my nausea. "Of course," my mother says. "It's the perfect school for her." These words grate against my already frayed nerves. I abhor cliché, but certain adolescent experiences, I suppose, are universal, and there's nothing I detest more than being told who I am or what's good for me by my mother. "Why?" I snap, breaking my silence against my will. "Because it was the perfect school for you?" She doesn't even deign to respond, just smirks in that way of hers, non-verbally suggesting that everything she thinks is objectively correct, baiting me with that knowing silence. And I bite, which only makes me more furious at the both of us. "I have no interest in following in your footsteps," I say. "Becoming captain of the fencing team, queen of the dark prom, president of the Seance Society." I try to infuse these accomplishments with as much disdain as possible. But of course, she looks even more smug. "I merely meant that you will finally be among peers who understand you," she says. "Maybe you'll even make some friends." This I don't dignify with a response. Friendship, in my experience, requires opting into a series.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?